got you.
with him.
I've got you.
So,
That makes sense,
yep,
okay.
and he got no homestead on it or anything.
Yep, okay.
So to me, it's probably hunting.
That's what it sounds like, yeah. Okay, thanks.
Ready? Good morning, Todd County. Welcome to Tuesday, April 18, 2023, Todd County Board of Commissioners regular board meeting. I will do roll call and call the meeting to order. All commissioners are present along with, except for Commissioner Erickson, the county auditor, county coordinator, and the county attorney is absent. And I'm going to read a statement before we do the pledge. So, our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Pope County Deputy Josh Owen, who was killed in the line of duty on Saturday, April 15th. We also offer our thoughts and prayers to the other Pope County deputy and Starbuck officer who were shot in Cyrus. Deputy Josh Owen, we thank you for your service and sacrifice. We also want to extend our continued concerns for all the Pope County law enforcement that is dealing with this tragedy. Todd County Sheriff will assist the Pope County Sheriff Department during this time. Please stand as we take a moment of silence to honor Deputy Owen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Once again, good morning. Is there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have two that we'll be adding today. Under Commissioners 5.3, we would like to add a resolution establishing support for seeking funding from Sourcewell for enhancements to the Sheriff's Office impound facility for training. And then along with that, we'll add 5.4 under the Commissioners for rescinding the board action 2023-0321-20.
Okay. Is there any other additions? If none, I would entertain a motion, please.
So move.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Becker. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Consent items today are the meeting minute approval for April 4th, 2023, gambling permit for Midwest Outdoor Unlimited Prairie Partners, gambling permit for Little Birch Lake Improvement Association, retirement Norbuckers 4/27/23, solid waste seasonal hire Nathan Ruda, start date 4/24/23, resignation of eligibility worker Michael Garcia 4/12/2023, appoint social worker Morgan Thole, start date to be determined.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Noska. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, Commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This morning, we are going to take an opportunity to recognize our employees for years of service. And this is something that employees get recognized for annually, but the commissioners thought it was important to do this recognition with the employees, having the employees come here. So with that, the background is the Todd County Board of Commissioners recognizes the county employees are our most valuable asset and would like to recognize staff for years of service. First quarter 2023 service awards will be presented.
All right, so the first one I have is Kimberly DeCock.
Yep.
With what?
And Kim has been with the county for 15 years. She is currently the behavioral health supervisor with Health and Human Services. And Kim, if you want to maybe just come up. And then when you do come up, if you would maybe just stay up so we can get everybody up there.
Congratulations.
Come up behind us here. You would? That way we can. Okay. So I'm just gonna go by the order I have them right here.
Okay.
Next individual will be Neva Volkman.
Neva is a legal secretary in the county attorney's office, and she has been with the county for 10 years.
Next one I have on is Brittany Hendricks.
So Brittany Hendricks is a sergeant with the sheriff's office, and she has also been with the county for 10 years.
Next one I have is Hillary Tumberg.
Hillary is the waiver services supervisor with Health and Human Services, and she has been with the county for 5 years.
And next I have Jacob Vettesh.
Yep, Jacob Vetch is a heavy equipment operator, and he has been with Public Works for 5 years, and he was unsure if he'd be able to make it because he's in the northern shop, but, so he must
All
not
right.
be able to make it today.
And the last one I have is Commissioner Rodney Erickson.
Yes, and commissioners and elected officials get recognized as well. So Commissioner Erickson has been with us for 10 years as a county commissioner, so.
Thank you.
And if we could just take an opportunity to maybe just get a picture with the staff and with the commissioners.
Okay.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And the next board action that I have, Mr. Chair, is glasses. Use of Expo Building for Browerville School Spring Sports Practice. So the background on this is due to the recent damage received at the Browerville School, there is a request to utilize the Todd County Expo Building for spring sports practice. The requested time frame for use of the facility is estimated to be from 4/18 through 5/31 of 2023. The request is to waive the rental and utility fees for lease of the Expo Building for this time frame. A damage deposit of $1,000 would be made, with the understanding this would be returned if no damage is found to the building after use. And the options are to approve waiving the rental and utility fees for Browerville School Spring Sports Practice at the Todd County Expo Building, or do not allow, and the recommendation is to allow.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So move, but, Mr. Chair, if I could add, to it, it's something like it be a one-time use only for spring sports due to the losing of the school gym. We've had requests from other schools to use the facility, and we've never allowed it, but this is a kind of an unusual circumstance.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Nazca. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried, thank you.
Thank you. And next, we have a resolution, this is 5.3, Denise?
5.3.
Okay. Next, we have a resolution establishing support for seeking funding from Sourcewell for enhancements to Sheriff's Office impound facility for training. So the background for this is Todd County Sheriff's Office has a need to provide a safe and secure training facility year-round to law enforcement, EMS, and fire personnel within Todd County and with agencies outside Todd County when the need arises. A training facility exists but does not allow for training during winter months due to a large portion of the building not being insulated and without heat. Funding exists through Sourcewell's Community Impact Funding for cities and counties within Region 5. An application has been completed and requires an adopted resolution by the County Board of Commissioners as a requirement to submit that. The options are to approve the resolution establishing support for seeking funding from Sourcewell for enhancements to the Sheriff's Office impound facility for year-round training of law enforcement, EMS, and fire personnel within Todd County and agencies outside Todd County when the need arises, or to not approve, and the recommendation is to approve. Mr. Chair, if I may just add, the deadline for this application is April 26th, and that's why it came this time as an amended agenda item.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nazca. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. I would like the two new commissioners to, when you get a chance, to hook up with the Sheriff Allen and go through this facility. And he can explain pretty good detail what they need and why we're going after this grant. So it's something you guys should look into. So, any other discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you. And the final board action that I have this morning is to rescind the board action tracking number 20230-321-20. The background is to rescind the board action tracking number 2023-0321-20. Todd County Administration and Personnel Committee will continue to recruit for the open human resources position. And the options are to approve the rescinding of that board action tracking number 2023-0321-20 or to not approve, and the recommendation is to approve.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So move.
Motion by Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, County Auditor.
First one I have today is to approve the commissioner warrants. Background is sent for your review. The recommendation is to approve the commissioner warrants with an ACH payment and a total payment totaling in the amount of $56,054.49. It is a budgeted item.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by Becker. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Noska. Discussion? If none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Naska?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Our next item would be the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants. Again, background is sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling in the amount of $188,215.16, and it is a budgeted item.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So move.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Noska. Discussion? If none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Naska?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
And the last item I have then would be the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants. Background was sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling in the amount of $79,948.21, and it is a budgeted item.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Noska. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. If none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Noska?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Hands of Hope. Come on up. Good morning, ladies.
Morning.
Okay.
Hands of Hope has prepared a proclamation. National Crime Victims' Rights Week is April 23rd through the 29th. Whereas the term victim is more than just a label and has legal standing and protections that go along with it, and whereas Crime Victims' Rights Acts passed here in Minnesota and at the federal level guarantee victims the right to meaningfully participate and use their voice in the criminal justice process. And whereas victim service providers, advocates, law enforcement officers, attorneys, and other allied professionals can help survivors find their justice by enforcing these rights. And whereas the right to provide an impact statement ensures that victims' voices are considered in court during sentencing and, when relevant, restitution processes. And whereas including and elevating the voices of survivors makes certain they are heard and seen and creates a path to forging and sustaining community trust. And whereas National Crime Victims' Rights Week provides an opportunity to recommit to listening to crime survivors in every space where decisions are made that could impact them. And whereas Hands of Hope Resource Center is hereby dedicated to amplifying the voices of survivors and creating an environment where survivors have the confidence that they will be heard, believed, and supported. Now therefore be it resolved that the Todd County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim the week of April 23rd through the 29th, 2023 as National Crime Victims' Rights Week, reaffirming Todd County's commitment to creating a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all victims of crime during National Crime Victims' Rights Week and throughout the year, and expressing our sincere gratitude and appreciation for those community members, victim service providers, and criminal justice professionals who are committed to improving our response to all victims of crime so that they may find relevant assistance, support, justice, and peace. And this year's theme is Survivor Voices, Elevate, Engage, and Affect Change. Thank you.
Thank you. You've heard the resolution. Is there a motion, please?
Move.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Noska. Discussion. Thank you for everything you do.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion?
Thank you. Thank you very much for everything.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, Hands of Hope had asked if we could possibly get a picture of the commissioners for this.
Yeah. Come on. County Assessor. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. I'm here today to present and request 3 separate abatements. The first one on the agenda today is an abatement for parcel 33-0028800. Property owner Gladys Miller's homestead exclusion on parcel 33-0028800 was removed in error. Due to this removal of homestead classification, the 23 property tax was calculated as non-homestead. Options today are to approve the abatement, reducing the property tax on parcel 33-0028800 from $1,426 to $954. Other option is to not approve. Recommendation is to approve the abatement.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So move.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Becker. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you. The second abatement today is for parcels 21-0000700 and 21-0013800. Property owner Mavis Zilgert applied for and was granted special agricultural homestead on these parcels. The approval was not updated in the assessment records, and as such, the parcels were taxed as non-homestead for the 23 property tax. Approval of this abatement would correct the error, and the property tax would be recalculated based on the approval of the homestead. Options today are to approve the abatement, which would reduce the 23 property tax on parcel 21-0000700 from $3,626 to $1,324, and reduce parcel 21-0013800 from $1,886 to $944. Second option is to deny the abatement. Recommendation today is to approve the abatement.
Okay. You've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Noska. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Third and final abatement for the day is on parcel 06-0072600. Property owner Nancy Mackin presented information regarding her property characteristics on April 22nd of 2022. I reviewed the information and reduced the assessed value for the 23 assessment from $163,300 to $133,000 even. I informed Ms. Mackin of the change. On March 30th of 23, Ms. Mackin contacted me and said she believed the changes made in the previous year would be effective for the 2023 tax, not the 2023 assessment. Due to this misunderstanding, she did not appeal her 2022 value to the County Board of Appeal and Inquisition. Options today are to approve the abatement, recalculating the tax amount for the parcel based on the appealed value of $133,000. This would reduce the 23 property tax from $1,610 to $1,316. Second option is to not approve the abatement. My recommendation is to approve the abatement as presented.
Okay. You've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Danny. Discussion. I do have one question. Townships that these were in?
Yeah.
06 is Burnhamville, 21 is Round Prairie, 33 is Eagle Bend.
Okay.
So that was in vice versa. This one currently is Burnhamville.
Okay, because these will also affect the townships and the school district, right?
Some of the tax that will be recalculated will come out of there.
Yep. Okay. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Zoning.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, my first item this morning is the Polk-Raybeck request for CUP. An application for a conditional use permit to establish a community solar energy system on parcel 2600180002, which is Ward Township, was received on February 27th. The application was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the April 6th public hearing, and the final recommendation from the Planning Commission was to grant the permit with the conditions stated in the recommendation. The options are to grant the CUP with those conditions, deny the CUP, or remand it back to the Planning Commission. And the recommendation would be a motion to grant the conditional use permit for a community solar energy system on parcel 2600180002 with the following conditions. One, that the applicant must obtain permitting and or licensing from additional governmental agencies as necessary, and two, the submission of the interconnection agreement with the electric service provider prior to issuance of a land use permit. I believe the proceedings, and there should have been a map included with that too, down further. Actually in front of, on the back side of it, there you go. So that shows the area there. You can see on their parcel, their driveway kind of has that curvature shape there. It's kind of, the panels are kind of proposed to go to the left side, so the west of the house in the kind of the middle portion of the property, just off the edge of that front pasture. It'll be two sets of solar arrays. I don't know the exact footage, but there'll be two lines of them just set back off the road a few hundred feet.
Okay, you've heard the requests. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nazca. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Adam, is this the first one that was hooked up to the grid? I mean, this looks like more than what they can use themselves.
And that's how most of these community solar energy systems are, is they calculate what the usage of the property is and size them appropriately. But what the incentive is to do it is that anything extra gets sent back onto the grid, and essentially your meter runs backwards during those times. So they don't oversize them intentionally. It's just to size for the property with everything extra going back onto the grid. This is the same as, similar ones we've done in the past months or last year. Smaller systems really designed for residential use with excess back to the electric grid.
Okay, and this is just for residential use at this point, and if
Right.
anybody would want to add more, they would have to come
Back.
Right.
back again?
Right, and if that was a concern, that's certainly something we've had as a condition on some other ones, where if they were gonna add additional panels, you could clearly state that in the conditions. However, I think that the ordinance already catches that. It says if you're going beyond what your conditional use was applied for, you need to get a conditional use permit, or at least go back through that review process. So
Okay.
the ordinance already catches that in that process.
Okay, because to me, we have to be so careful that all of a sudden we don't approve something and they can add, and then it's,
Right.
we don't have anything in place as far as maintaining or disposal, all of these things that should be on a checklist.
Sure. Yep, and the ordinance does catch that, but I would totally understand if a third condition was needed, stating to the effect additional solar arrays would require review of the planning commission. We've done similar conditions to that on many different types of applications in the past.
And I'm wondering if we shouldn't be adding this to the solar panels at this point until we
Oh.
get something in place within the county
Sure, okay.
to
I hear what you're
address
saying.
it.
Yeah.
Would you like to do that?
Yes, I would.
Okay. All right. Let's add that into there. How much acreage is this gonna cover? Half an acre?
Oh, I wouldn't even say
Wouldn't even
that.
be that?
No, I think they're a couple 100 feet long, and there's only 2 rows of them. So I don't know what that equates to exactly, but it's not a big area. It's tough to see because I'm not zoomed in on that map there, but there's kind of a little cutout just across the fence into a smaller pasture that they're going to tuck them into, just on the south side of the trees. It's not a large space that these take up.
I just want to, protect
Yep.
all of us until we get something in place. Yeah.
Any further discussion? So we will have that addition?
Yep.
Okay. And a motion, and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
That's why I printed it all. I'll just read it off the screen. Next is the application for finally home preliminary plat, an application for subdivision to establish a single lot plat on parcel 22-001-0000 in Staples Township was received on March 13th. The application was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the April 6th meeting, and the final recommendation from the Planning Commission is to approve the preliminary plat with the conditions stated below. Options are to approve the preliminary plat with the proposed conditions, did not approve, or remand it back to the Planning Commission. And the recommendation is to approve the finally home preliminary plat on parcel 22-001-0000 with the following conditions. 1, 2 suitable sites shall be identified prior to final platting, and 2, the applicant must abide by all other applicable federal, state, and local standards. Speaking on condition number 1, it was winter, couldn't do soil borings or anything. The applicant hired the contractor, paid the fee, has them lined up to do them already, so we had every bit of it done except physically doing it, so we placed it as a condition to keep this moving along.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion, please?
So move.
A motion by Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Okay, and lastly, the Dahlquist request for CUP. Application for a CUP to establish a new feedlot site consisting of 988.8 animal units of swine on parcel 1600-22600, Little Elk Township, was received on March 13th. The application was reviewed by the Planning Commission during the April 6th public hearing. And the final recommendation from the Planning Commission was to grant the CUP with the conditions stated below. Options are to grant the CUP with the proposed conditions, deny the CUP, or remand it back to the Planning Commission for further consideration. The recommendation is a motion to grant the conditional use permit on parcel 1600-22600 with following conditions. 1, traffic to and from the site shall travel along 335th Avenue to County 31. 2, applicant must obtain all permitting in accordance with Minnesota 7020 rules prior to the start of construction. 3, all manure management requirements must be followed in accordance with Minnesota 7020 rules, including but not limited to manure application rates, setbacks, and record keeping. 4, manure application records shall be supplied to the county feedlot officer annually. 5, prior to manure application events, an air quality exemption shall be called into the county feedlot program. 6, manure nutrient testing shall be conducted annually prior to manure application. 7, 2 rows of trees shall be planted on the north and east sides of the proposed building location for the purposes of screening. 8, establishment of road maintenance agreement with Little Elk Township to address road damage both during and after construction. 9, mandatory use of pit additives for odor control and establishment of biofilters or advanced technology on pit fans for additional active odor control. And 10, that the applicant must abide by all other applicable federal, state, and local standards.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Nazca. Discussion.
Now, Adam?
Yep.
I'm just curious about the Little Elk Township, the road damage, 'cause I know that was a concern of theirs, and they made that clear. The establishment of the agreement, what happens if the agreement, they can't come to an agreement that both sides agree on?
And that's a question I had, but there wasn't a lot of discussion during the public hearing about what the township would need, and our applicants were very open and
Right.
wanted to work with the township
I
on
just,
that.
I just don't
and-
want this to be a conflict going forward if, the applicants are willing to do something, but the township doesn't see it's good enough, or vice
Sure,
versa.
yep,
So,
understood.
Yeah, I mean, I just take care of the road as it is, I guess, and maintain as needed. I'm sure that's what they're gonna look for, but I don't know if there's any other way we could address something like that.
It is difficult, because the township is the road authority and maintains the roads, and it's hard to say what type of damage.
Right.
It could be severe.
Right.
It could be minimal.
It-
But there was some concerns expressed about the road condition now and some fill-in areas, and our applicants were open to that conversation right off the bat, along with long-term maintenance of the road.
Good deal. Thanks.
Mr. Chair, Adam, Is there any place on here where they talk about, or how are they going to do with expired animals? How is that going to be handled?
It's something we could add as a condition. It's also something that is required for the feedlot permitting under the program, that you dispose of animals in some manner that meets the rule, which most are doing either rendering, but a lot of the larger hog sites are going to composting facilities, and I'm not
That's
sure
exactly
what their
right.
intentions are.
I guess
But
that's
maybe
why
we
I
could
was
get an
kind of
answer if you wanted
asking
to.
that, because was that ever discussed at the?
It was not discussed at the planning commission hearing. It is something that's addressed under the 70-20 rules, or also the Board of Animal Health has requirements for carcass disposal that they need to follow.
Okay. You feel is going to be dealt with?
I feel that that is
Without
going to be
having-
a non-issue. I think that we have avenues to address that. We have good relationships with these producers that we can go out and talk with them about that, but I feel that they're going to set this up in a manner that it's going to be a non-issue. They recognize, especially the swine operators recognize what goes into the biocontrol for disease spreading and stuff, and it's important to them to take care of them in addition to just being neighborly and taking care of those deads in a timely fashion.
So will this facility be built by, like a Wells, solid cement forms when they come in, similar to Gorley's?
I'm assuming it's going to be forms and poured in place, but again, if we want to answer any questions, I think our applicants are here if you want to hear anything. So
Is it gonna be a cement structure?
The manure holding facility is concrete, otherwise it'll be framed from the top of the pit.
Okay, all right.
And can I address the expired animals? Because I know the ones over by Bertha, we hear quite a few complaints.
We have a compost facility on the site to
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be similar to Gorley's. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you.
thank you.
Solid waste.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
The agenda we have before you today is the use of the ARPA funds for our Todd County landfill final cover. The background, the Todd County demolition landfill requires cover and closure of cells in compliance with the MPCA rules. The ARPA Environmental Resource Committee has rated this as a #1 priority and recommends the use of ARPA funds for this project. The estimated cost for cover and closure of the cell is $700,000. The board already authorized the department to retain WSN to prepare and design a bidding documents for this project. The department needs to receive authorization as soon as they can so that the work can be advertised for bidding early in the construction season. The solid waste department previously did not set money aside for landfill final cover construction. The department has reported that it will phase in annual set-aside amount in preparation for future final cover projects. The options is to use the ARPA funds for the project of cover and closure of cells in the Todd County landfill, recommended by the ARPA Environmental Resource Committee, or do not approve the use of the ARPA funds for this project. It is our recommendation to approve this motion. Just for a little FYI, we did reach out to Winseth. They estimate mid-May for having the documents ready and prepared for bidding.
Okay, you've heard the request. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Noska. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We put away that 700,000. What if it goes higher or lower? Do we make an adjustment in that or not, Chris?
Mr. Chair, I think with the Commissioner Becker, with the speed that we're going through utilizing these ARPA funds, we've really taken, the board has taken a very cautious approach. And
Okay.
I think the approach that you have taken is a good one in that you were gonna wait for that bid to come in before you approve other projects. So I think doing this 700,000 approval, if there's any changes, we can easily come back and adjust that through a board action, if that's acceptable.
Okay.
And I want to thank the Finance Committee for expediting this and getting this on the agenda today, so. Any other discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, Commissioners.
Okay. The commissioners will hold, oh, are we ready? Okay. The commissioners will hold a closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute 3D 05 subdivision 3A for the purpose of evaluating the performance of the individual subject to the board's authority. And should I read them out?
Sure.
Okay, it'd be Chris Odden, County Assessor, Jackie Ock, HHS Director, Adam Ostford, P&Z and Water and Soil Division Director, and Pete Berscheit, Veteran Service Officer. So I'd ask for a motion to go into closed session.
So move.
Motion by Becker, second by Danny. Discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We are going to closed session. Okay.
Thank you.
You ready?
Sure. It should be ready.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna request a motion to reopen the county board meeting at this time. Is there a motion, please?
So move.
Motion by Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried? Thank you. All right. The Todd County Board of Commissioners has reviewed the performance of department heads during the closed session pursuant to statute 3D.05 subdivision 3A. The results of the closed session reviews is that all department heads reviewed on this date meet or exceed the expectations of their positions. Thank you. Okay. With that, we are gonna go to standing reports. Auditor Treasurer.
We are busy collecting taxes. People are sending in their payments that are due May 15th, so that's good news. The audit presentation will be May 2nd. As of this morning, I received an email just confirming that there are no new findings, just our standard ones that we always have, segregation of duties, things like that. And then also we were notified that Sauk River Watershed Manager position that Paul Hartman currently holds expires, and so we'll be advertising for a Sauk River Manager position to fill that term.
Okay, and I'll talk to Paul too on that. Okay,
That's all I have.
all righty. County Attorney.
Not anything really earth-shattering to report. We're staying busy, and that's about it.
Okay, all right. Commissioners. Commissioner Noska.
All right. Well, since our last meeting, I've had quite a few, but nothing really with a ton of, ton of urgency. So we had the Development Corporation, that annual banquet, which was well attended. Food was good. The next day, we got to go to the Clarissa Ballroom. Another day with good food. Can't argue with that. I guess we had met with the Law Library with John on the 12th. The 13th was Fair Board Ag Society. They kind of nailed down some of their events for the Todd County Fair. Seemed like it should be a good time. They got bull rides and mutton busting coming on Saturday, so maybe something fun to watch. And then yesterday we reviewed insurance claims and plans for the news facility in Eagle Bend for community corrections. And we did a little bit of modifying to the blueprint, but I think it's going to be a really nice building and well utilized and functional. So looks like something we can really hang our hats on. I mean, we got lucky that it fell in, just to a certain extent. So yeah, other than that, I'm good.
Nice. Commissioner Denny.
Yeah, I'll agree with Mr. Noska there. I attended a lot of the meetings he did, but I'll save my other meetings report for our next boardroom meeting. There was a few different ones that I didn't attend differently than do. So.
All right, Commissioner Becker.
Yes, along with Lou and the rest of us, it was the Todd County Development Annual Township Meeting, the Soil and Water Meeting, Rainbow Rider, and there, after 4 years in the process, we are having a design drawn and going out for bids for a new bus garage for Rainbow Rider, which will be located in Alexandria. So it's interesting where I'm sitting on that one. We're sitting on the solid waste building and also the correction building over in Eagle Bend. So a lot of different people I'm working with buildings right now. So.
Okay, I had a lot of meetings in March, board meeting, department head meeting, park board meeting, water and soil, solid waste, Rainbow Rider, met with Senator Klobuchar's Mr. Lean. That was an interesting conversation. He's new at it, so personnel meetings, feedlot meetings, broadband meetings, financial meetings, Second Amendment rally in Osakis, Park Board, or, board meeting, Sauk River Watershed, counties providing technology, personnel, weed meeting at Browerville, which is the first time I think I attended a weed meeting, and I found it really interesting
Yeah.
that there's grants out there that the county, park board could apply for to eradicate like the buckthorn and the poison ivy that's out there. So that's something they're gonna have to, dig into. But, Nancy did a fantastic job. She had a gal there from Ag
University.
Department,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, thought that was really good. And then, personnel and justice center and all that fun stuff, but a lot of meetings. We'll continue on, and with that, coordinators report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To not be repetitive, a lot of the same meetings as well. We did have an opportunity for a walkthrough of the Expo building, just to kind of close out that hockey season and everything. There were a couple things that we need to address with facilities, but otherwise, things looked pretty good with that facility. And Commissioner Newman and Commissioner Becker were present to do that walkthrough. When we were done with that, we did take a walkthrough of the impound lot as well, which is where we heard the information from Sheriff Allen about the insulating and how that would really be very helpful. So we had that, the Development Corp annual dinner. It was really impressive to hear from the Bertha Hewitt School and their entrepreneur program. I think that was just really a top-notch presentation. And then the annual township meeting with all of the great information that the departments who were present, the information they shared, and just a thank you again to all of those departments who were there, because they gave some good information. Just heard some legislative updates regarding some potential changes for county program aid, and also some unfunded mandates that may be coming our direction regarding like paid family medical leave and a couple of other programs that are moving through the legislature. So, and with that, we're just keeping things afloat with administration, doing, completing all those department head reviews, and those are done now, so that's great. And taking part in some interviews, which that's been kind of an enjoyment to do, even though it's a little bit of a time commitment. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Chair, I have one more thing to add. Brenda stopped in before the meeting and asked, breakfast on the farm is set for June 17th. And they normally run shuttle buses from the high school parking lot, and it'll be out at Rindy's farm this year. She was wondering if the county board would be okay with utilizing the grassy area, because the school is going to be doing a parking lot reconstruction. So they have no place to park the cars and shuttle the people out. And it's June 17th, and it would just be from 10 to 2. And I told her she could just fill out one of those rental forms, and we can either bring it to the board, or it shouldn't be an issue. It's just parking cars
Right.
on the grass, and there's
Right.
nothing going on that day
Right.
at the fairgrounds.
Okay,
So
all right.
I
That
wanted
was
to
June
share that with you.
17th?
She didn't know if June 17th from 10 to 2. And they just would need to utilize an area to park cars to shuttle people to the
All right.
breakfast on the farm at just, Jeff Rindy's.
All right. Is there any other issues that need to come in front of this board? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn for the month of April.
So moved.
Motion by Noska. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?